Matthew's message, August 17, 2015. Insects. International cooperation. Active September. Pope Francis. Cecil the Lion. Global politics. Eternal soul. God, creator. Soul, personage makeup. Manifestation. Dark souls, lost souls, root souls. Soul communication, brain, mind. Long life DNA programming. With loving greetings from all souls at this station, this is Matthew. I thank all of you who wrote about this part of our last message. Insects also serve the purpose of souls whose lifetime energy consigned them to the basest part of third density spirit realms. You will welcome knowing that insects cannot survive in the higher vibratory levels where Earth is heading, and their place in the food chain no longer will be needed. I should have said those before the words insects in both statements to make clear that the information pertained only to insects in the reader's question about the purpose of roaches, fleas, mosquitoes, etc. The kinds of insects that cause or spread disease, or are just plain nuisances. So, dear ones, you can welcome knowing that honeybees will be with you as long as their valuable service is desired and honored, and other splendid little life forms that delight you, like butterflies, dragonflies, ladybugs and lightning bugs, also will continue to grace your world with their beauty and uniqueness as Earth moves into ever higher vibratory planes. Now then, there is a flurry of covert and overt activity around efforts to stabilize the global economy and weed out corruption in financial institutions, bring forth truths to expose long-time deceptions, stop funding to the Islam State and for the Illuminati's Black Ops events, and curtail industrial pollution and other environmental destruction. This growing spirit of international cooperation is a notable milestone in the transformation of your world. And while it is so that efforts toward reforms will meet pockets of stubborn resistance along the way until all areas of conflict reach peaceful resolution, nothing can deter the light's powerful momentum or the expanding consciousness of Earth humankind. To readers who asked if, in an imminent cosmic wave, enlightened persons will ascend bodily, we say no, and people with dark proclivity will not die en masse. As for the events cited as coming in September, Earth's energy field of potential does indicate an active period, but it doesn't include a meteor or any other large celestial body striking the planet with catastrophic results, or nuclear World War III starting in the Mideast. Neither of those will happen in September or ever. And, if there is economic upheaval in the United States, it would not be a false flag so the government can declare martial law and make mass arrests. That this bankrupt country has been kept afloat by the Illuminati's self-serving Federal Reserve System for the past several years, eventually has to surface and stop, and procedures are in place to minimize financial inconvenience to the citizenry. We see nothing at all suspicious about Pope Francis' choice of arrival date in the United States, and absolutely he acts from purity of heart. Speculation that he secretly is working with the Illuminati is malicious disinformation, very likely disseminated by them to blur the truth that he is uprooting their centuries of entrenchment in the Vatican. According to our colleagues in Nirvana, the Overangel of Lion Souls was with Cecil to ease his suffering during the hours he was wounded, and after he transitioned, he learned of the outpouring of anger about his death. No, he didn't have a karmic agreement with Walter Palmer. However, trophy hunters do incur karmic lessons, and the manner of Cecil's death greatly raised awareness of the collective responsibility to protect and respect all of Earth's animal life. That sad incident also intensified the spotlight on the very same responsibility regarding the lives of all Earth's humankind. Many of you have requested our comments about political situations in your native countries. Speaking globally, governments have controlled most aspects of life in your world. Therefore, they are the areas where the most profound changes must come, and we can see from our vantage point that those are on the way. But sweeping clean national governments and tyrannical regimes is not easy or quick, and the turmoil you are seeing, if we may twist your phrase, is the storm before the calm. As for our perspective of the political scene in the United States, as revelations emerge between now and Election Day, You shall see why all the media chatter about which of the many candidates will become president is such a pitiful waste of energy. Numerous questions and comments about the soul show the need for clarity about a topic that is much more important than politics for you to understand. We are happy to offer this, and the following comment from a reader is a good place to start. Learning karmic lessons in one lifetime after another doesn't make being an eternal soul the least bit appealing. We assure you, being an eternal soul is not an endless series of up and down karmic experiences. You advance to a level of spiritual and conscious awareness wherein karma no longer is needed, and, as the multidimensional beings you are, you will continue evolving and remembering your beginnings in the pure love light of Creator. When you attain remembrance in fullness, and that is the goal of every soul, you will return to Creator. Until then, and the time differs as much as each soul differs from every other, you will have wondrous lifetimes as progressively higher souls in worlds where joy, love, and beauty are beyond your imagining. The various non-religious references to God are confusing. Is God a supreme being soul, prime creator, creator source, or highest angel? God is a soul, every life form everywhere is a soul, and, as the supreme being of this universe, He is the source of all life within this universe, but He is not creator source or prime creator. Those are other designations for creator/creation, the energy source and the beingness of everything that exists throughout the cosmos. Only for ease of speaking do we say simply creator. Nor is God of the angelic realm, but He is one of their manifestations, the first souls with life form potential. They were the androgynous gods and goddesses, who had the option to remain as pure light or take on a form. Of those who chose to be light, Creator selected some to co-create the universes and rule over them. You call the God chosen by Creator to co-create this universe and be its supreme being by different names, including God. Eventually, some of the gods and goddesses who wanted to embody, lived for a time on Earth. They could manifest whatever physical appearance they wished, which is why some figures with quite unusual features are in drawings and artifacts of ancient civilizations. I don't understand how souls living in a spirit world can create new people or personages. Is it because they have different ingredients in their soul makeup than people and personages do? We understand that the terms soul, personage, and person, which are used interchangeably, can muddy the waters, so to say. Although we tend to say personage when speaking about a soul manifesting a being and person during that being's physical lifetime, the two words mean the same. An individual's thoughts, feelings, self-image, characteristics, behavior, talents, skills, ideas, dreams, beliefs, achievements, failures, relationships, and all other experiences throughout the lifetime. Soul is who you are, an independent, unique, divine being, an inseparable part of the supreme being of this universe and of Creator/creation. You are not a person who has a soul. You are a soul having personal experiences in a body. Whether in a spirit or a physical world, soul's makeup is identical, Creator's love light energy. However, you could say that the soul's makeup has ingredients with reference to the innate qualities it imparts to its personage: conscience, inspiration, instinct, unlimited capacity to love, spiritual strength, manifesting ability, and sense of honor, radiant goodness, and interconnectedness with God and nature. Where the person and the soul may differ considerably is whether the person chooses to act upon those qualities or ignore them, or how it uses Creator's gift of free will. Let us use Nirvana's higher layer as an example of how souls in a spirit world use Creator's energy to produce what they desire. One person can manifest localized weather, clothing, furniture, and flowers, for instance. Producing more complex objects like homes, museums, cars, and boats requires more participants. Some visualize parts of the interior in tandem with those who visualize exterior parts. When a soul desires experiences that can happen only in a physical world, that soul manifests a being, using Creator's energy, the makeup of the new soul, and endows this new being, person or personage, with the aforementioned innate qualities along with all the attributes that will enable the kind of life the manifestor soul has chosen. This includes a pre-birth agreement with the two souls who will become the parents and provide the manifestor's choices such as genetic and cultural heritage, geographic location, and economic status, and with all other souls who will share the person's lifetime. Matthew has said, the aim of the dark forces is to capture souls. What happens to the many good people who may have been grappling with possession by these dark energies for years and become so debilitated, they give up the struggle? Is that a win for the dark forces? What happens to that person's soul? The soul is liberated when the body dies and the person's etheric body and lifetime memories enter nirvana, where his or her tormented psyche and debilitated etheric body are given customized care and constant attention throughout the healing process. As mentioned in previous messages, every soul remains its inviolate, independent self, even as it is a part of its cumulative soul. There is another kind of relationship, too. Every new soul becomes part of the lineage of an initiator soul called the root soul, and since root souls' lifetimes may affect all of their progeny, they are the souls the dark forces want to capture. Root souls, like all other souls, are energy, thus indestructible. However, except for the spark that is their life force, their light can be extinguished gradually through multiple lifetimes of negative choices outside soul contracts, thus the term dark souls. The laws of this universe draw them to the densest part of a spirit world, where a tiny ray of light is constantly beamed to them, no more than a pinpoint, because dark souls fear the light. When they receive it, a bit more light is made available, and this continues until they have absorbed enough light to incarnate in a primitive form as the first step back up the evolutionary ladder. If, after eons of linear time, a dark soul still refuses to accept the pinpoint of light, it becomes a lost soul, and its energy is reabsorbed by Creator, the source of its life force. When this happens to a root soul, the life force of all souls in its lineage wherever they are in the universe is cut off. You could liken this to a central power station that suddenly fails to function and no longer can transmit power to any of its innumerable facilities. The rare instances when that has occurred are what the dark forces consider capturing souls, but why they think this stretches understanding is because none of those souls is in the clutches of darkness. The root soul and all of its progeny are within the essence of Creator, where they are oblivious to ever having existed independently, but the memory field of each soul is stored intact energetically. Extraordinary happenings during this unprecedented time in the universe include the highest universal council's granting of dispensation petitions, submitted on behalf of lost and nearly lost souls. Angels and soulmates volunteered to assist those souls quickly gain enough intelligence and reasoning ability to understand the depths of darkness into which they had fallen and make enlightened choices henceforth, and this soul-saving mission includes restoring memory fields to all lineage of the lost root souls. What is the relationship between the soul and the mind? Is intelligence part of the soul or the body? The capacity to know everything that exists throughout all of creation is within the soul. When the soul taps into this repository of all consciousness, it reports what it sees to the brain, which is a personal computer that processes data for the mind to assimilate and tell the person what the soul wants it to know. Those messages may come as images, words, sensations, or a combination of impressions. Intelligence, the brain's ability to learn, and the mind's ability to comprehend and appropriately apply information, is in accordance with what the soul wants to experience during the physical lifetime. Is it true that every soul has its own frequency? Yes. It is a soul's unique frequency signature that enables each to be tracked wherever it is in this universe. The soul transition team and people in a spirit world to know when a person dear to them is entering spirit life, and families and pets to be reunited. Reunions can take place anywhere in this universe where the energy is compatible with the soul's energy. Your concept of distance doesn't exist in the continuum. Do you know when our civilization will be able to live for several hundred years like souls in more evolved civilizations? No, we don't. But we can say that it comes individually, not to an entire population in one fell swoop. People in more evolved civilizations can live for thousands of years or even millions, because their DNA isn't programmed for aging or disease. But the rhythmic contraction and expansion of the universe is inextricably connected with evolution, and at some point, a soul masters all learning offered in a particular environment. When a soul reaches that point, it may dematerialize its body and manifest one that fits into its choice of new civilization, or it may want to spend time in the spirit world before joining a civilization that offers grander learning experiences. And some souls, like many of you, volunteer to briefly backtrack, in a manner of speaking, to assist a fledgling civilization or one that is enshrouded in darkness, and a lifetime of that kind of benevolence is a leap forward in evolution. Beloved family, several questions remain on my mother's list, but there is not enough space here to include them, so we shall address the rest in our next message. And now we bid you farewell in words only, as our unconditional love forever is with you. Love and peace. Channeled by Suzanne Ward. www.matthewbooks.com